ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 12, entitled The Killing of the Demon Aghasur. Text number 12. Please repeat after me. Yat padapamsuhu bahu janma kichrata dhrita atmabhi योगिभिः अपि अल्लभ्य सह एव यदृक्विषय स्वयं स्थितः किं वर्ण्यते दिष्टम् अतः व्रजोकषाम् यत्पादपंसुर्बहुजन्म कृच्छ्रतो धृतात्मभिर्योगिभिरप्यलभ्य धृताभिर्योगिभिरप्यलभ्य स एव यदृगविषय स्वयं स्थितः किं वर्ण्यते दिष्टम् अथो व्रजोकषाम् यत्पादपंसुर्बहुजन्म कृच्छ्रतो धृतात्मभिर्योगिभिरप्यलभ्य स एव यदृक्विषय स्वयं स्थितः किं वर्ण्यते दिष्टम् अतो व्रजोकषाम् यत्पादपंसुर्बहुजन्म कृच्छ्रतो धृतात्मभिर्योगिभिरप्यलभ्य स एव यदृक्विषय स्वयं स्थितः किं वर्ण्यते दिष्टम् अतो व्रजोकषाम् यत्पादपंसुर्बहुजन्म कृच्छ्रतो धृताभिर्योगिभिरप्यलभ्य Virapyalabhyah Saeva Yadrika Vishaya Swayam Stita Kim Varnate Dishta Mato Vachokasham. Matajis. Yat Padapam Sur Bahujanma Krichrato Nritam Vir Yogi Virapyalabhyah Saeva Yadrika Vishaya Swayam Stitaha Kim Varnate Dishtam Mato Vrajokasham. Word by word meaning. Yat, whose, Pada Pamsuhu, dust of the lotus feet. Bahujanma, in many births. Prichrata, from undergoing severe austerities and penance as a way of practicing yoga, meditation, etc. Dhrita Atmavi, by persons able to control the mind. Yogibihi, by such yogis. Jnana yogis, Raj yogis, Dhyan yogis, etc. Api, indeed. Alabhya, cannot be achieved. Saha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Eva, indeed, Yadrika Vishaya, has become the object of direct vision, face to face, Swayam, personally, Stitha, present in front of them. Kim, what? Varnayate, can be described. Gishtam, about the fortune. Ataha, therefore, Rajokasham, of the inhabitants of Rajabhumi, Vrindavan. Translation by Yogis may undergo severe austerities and penances for many births by practicing yama, niyama, asana and pranayam, none of which are easily performed. Yet in due course of time, when these yogis attain the perfection of controlling the mind, they will still be unable to taste even a particle of dust from the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What then can be described about the great fortune of the inhabitants of Rajabhumi, Vrindavan, with whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally lived and who saw the Lord face to face? Purport. We can simply imagine the great fortune of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. It is impossible to describe how, after many, many births of pious activities, they have become so fortunate. Om Jnanatikrindasya Jnananjaya Shalakaya Chakshurundineena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupataya Krishna Prasthaya Putare Srimati Bhakti Vikas Sumita Vishnupataya Krishna Prasthaya Putare Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Samitanam Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharana Nirvisheshunyavad Ashuteshtaran Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advait Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So as we are describing the pastimes of the Lord Sri Krishna in Vrindavan, and one is very fortunate to hear these beautiful pastimes of the Lord because he is no other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's our proclivity in our heart that we associate with big things in the society. Could be anything. It's quite visibly we see among people when they associate with big things, they take selfies with maybe Prime Minister of India or some big industrialist. They want to show that they are associating with big person, and it's quite evident. They put on Facebook and other social medias. There are two sides of it when people, a mundane or a conditioned person does it. One is that he gets satisfaction that he has met the cream of cream, so of the cream, of the cream de la cream, as they say, of the cream of the society. They are able to meet based on their where they stand themselves and to what extent they can reach out to the famous person. They take the picture and post it. One is they get the satisfaction, as I said. Second is to kind of tease the other person that see how I am placed. I have reached the pinnacle of one's perfection, and you people are not so great that you are able to be in my position. That's two reasons. That's why the Facebook and any other social media are there spreading like wildfire. But here in this particular shloka, we get to see three aspects, particularly that what is talked about is the yogis, second is talked about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the third is the inhabitants of the Vrindavan, or the person who associate with the Supreme Lord. The beauty of yogis in this material world, we all know. Every one of us salute them because we do not know what is the topmost thing in the spiritual, topmost thing in one's existence. But with whatever knowledge we have, we want to see magic in one's life. We want to see some wonderful things. And yogis are known to produce wonderful things. And there's a comparison where the yogis stand and where the devotees or the inhabitants of Vrindavan stand with respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, the yogis, the Ashtanga Yoga has been introduced, particularly in the 5th chapter, wherein Arjuna is asking the question to Krishna in the 5th chapter beginning, that what is you're asking me to work with, fight with devotion and renounce work at the same time. How these two things can fall in the same category? So that, because Arjuna in his mind was thinking of how to jump, he didn't want to perform karma yoga. Karma yoga means where you involve your senses, and Krishna is trying to introduce to him devotional service, but just like a conditioned soul, where every jiva tries to just take what is good for him. With a lazy mind, he wanted to have, because in 4th chapter, Krishna told him that while doing your prescribed duties or your karma yoga, what you'll have some realizations out of it, which is give you transcendental realization, and you'll never be into this illusion. But Arjuna thought that if I can just cultivate jnana, just like an ordinary person, because he is representing our regular people as such, conditioned souls, that if I can just perform jnana yoga, just by cultivation of knowledge, there is no need of following karma yoga as such. So that could be a bypass. To that, Krishna explains further him that one may be successful in doing so, but two things will ever disturb his mind. One is the material desires, and the material desires, if they have not been satisfied, anger would come, and that will always torment the person who is practicing jnana yoga. To then, person who is following jnana yoga and as well want to take care of these material desires and as well of the anger, one thing is suggested by Krishna is basically he can do mechanical means of purging oneself of material desire by following Ashtanga Yoga. That's towards the end of the 5th chapter. But then towards the end of the 5th chapter itself, he says, but my devotees who think Bhaktaram Yagatapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Suridam Sarva Bhutanam Shantim Natam Shantim Rachati. But the devotees of the Lord who knows my position, that I am the supreme controller, supreme enjoyer, and because they are attached to me, peace is ever there in their heart. But for the jnanis, this is not so. And there's jnanis to take care of, to remove these desires, they take shelter of the Ashtanga Yoga. And Ashtanga Yoga, again, when it's been described to Arjuna, He says this is not possible for me because to control the mind is could be easier than controlling the turbulent wind. So he rejects, wherein Srila Prabhupada gives an example that in his purport, that it's possible that maybe once in some million, one person be able to follow this process in Kali Yuga. But in Kali Yuga, this is not the way of controlling the mind. The only way is by Sankirtan. By Sankirtan movement, one is able to cleanse one's heart because of his associating with the Supreme Person of Godhead. He is able to be with the devotees, see the character of devotees, see the faith of the devotees in the Supreme Person of Godhead, and develop love of Godhead, and that's where the affinity for the Supreme Lord comes into picture. So now here, again in Brahma Samhita, the efforts by which a yogi does, now devotional service seems to be very simple. Just one has to chant, all his activities is focused only in satisfying the Supreme Person of Godhead. But it may not be easy as such, but what we do is we take shelter of the devotees of the Lord who guide us in our process, and as we do, we experience the ecstasies of devotional service. But if you compare, some people may think, Baba, this is very easy process, this is a sentimental process, but if you look at the scriptures and the wish and the method prescribed by Lord Sri Krishna is only devotional service. So, but some people intelligent, they want to show up who by their own strength, they want to show that, yes, I did it on my own strength. But what is the end? Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma explains that Pantastu Koti Satavatsara Sampragyo Vayuratha Munasi Munapungavanam Sopi Asya Prapadyas Timni Avichinta Tatve Govinda Majpurusham Tamaham Bhajami. All this, the path which is accepted by these yogis, munis, which involves drilling of their mind, of their breathing process, such as tough, and it is extended over not some few years, but Pantasukoti Satavatsara, thousands of Satavatsara, thousands, millions of years. So if you can look at the lifespan is our 100 years. If you look at our Yuga is one, Kali Yuga is 4,32,000. And if you look at one Divya Yuga, we just add one more zero to it, is 4,32,000, 43 lakhs. Even it is beyond, if you look at the thousands of millions of years, if one person is staying, trying to drill his mind, control his breathing process, and what he get to see is nothing but a toe of the lotus feet of the Supreme Person of Godhead, shining. This is, after doing so many hardship taking in one's life, what he achieves is the shining toe of the Supreme Person of Godhead. On the other side, the devotees, they are in direct contact with the Supreme Person of Godhead. Another where is said in Brahma Samhita again, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adhyam Purana Purusham Navayonam Cha Vedeshu Durlabham Adhurlam Atma Bhakta Govinda Madhipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. He talks about the qualities of the Supreme Lord, Advaitam. There is no one in comparison. Achyutam, he is infallible. He cannot be come down to our material level. He is there. His position is fixed, supreme. Anadim, he has no beginning. People think if God created this world, then who created God? The definition of God itself is he has no beginning. He has no creator form. He is there. He is there eternally. Adyam, Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Ananta, Rupam. He has many forms. Many forms. Adyam Purana Purusham. He is the original and the oldest person. But how he looks? Navayonam Cha, just like a youthful boy. But this youthful boy cannot be attained. Vedeshu Durlabham. If you study Vedas, we cannot achieve him. But Adhurlam Atma Bhakta. But he is very close, who are in the science of soul. Vedesh, why it is said Vedesho Adurlabham? Because in Vedas, if you look at Vedas, we do not know the purpose of Vedas, but we just look what it is enticing us. Vedas are enticing three things, which is Karma Kand, Jnana Kand, Upasan Kand. Karma Kand is nothing but to fulfill our desires. And these desires, there's never an end. The more desires are fulfilled, the more we get it. And the aim is just looking for temporary things in the material world. That's the reason Vedeshu Adurlabham. Adurlabham Atma Bhakta. But person who knows, understands there's a something called spirit soul, and I need to satisfy my spirit soul need. That's when we talked about having material desires and how to vanquish them. The anger, all these qualities which are coming in the heart. Satisfaction of the soul, which comes only when it is in proximity with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when it does service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, towards the 11th chapter, end of the 11th chapter, where he has shown the universal form of the Lord. People, after reading so much Bhagavad Gita, they come to many conclusions. One of them is Karma Yoga is the greatest thing. And let's do our karma. Our karma could be Desh Bhakti, could be just being a household life, working for a company, getting a big position in a company. This is the thing. Their own concocted things of what Karma Yoga is. Then people think Jnana Yoga, because it's all the power about Jnana, intelligence, getting knowledge, and able to differentiate between what is matter and what is not matter, and ability to not to step into matter, but just being safe from matter. This is all Jnana Yogis think. Ashtanga Yogis, they're trying to stretch their mind to such an extent that they don't want to fall into materialistic things, but want to meditate on the Supreme Lord. But only one thing in the mind they have, and that is how to get siddhis. But actually, what are siddhis? Just like in a company where a big person works, reaches a bigger position, automatically for him, a car is given, a mobile is given, a big bungalow is given, a driver is given. Why? To facilitate him to able to do nice service to that company, so that all the time he is able to devote his time to think about the welfare of the company. But an ill-motivated person gets carried away by what is given to him. Instead of looking at the business aspect of that particular company, he starts to enjoy the facilities. And this is quite common in government offices, where people get into government offices only to get facilities, not with an intention to work as such. And as a process, they get caught into corruption and they have been thrown away from their jobs. So siddhis is something like that. Is a person practicing meditation on the Supreme Lord, he's been given all these siddhis. But moment he gets some siddhis, he thinks that I am myself have become God, because when he tries to use them for betterment of public, the people come to him, they tell him that this is, they feel that he has done some magic, he has healed some people, cured some people, and when people come in large numbers, it gives an illusion to him that actually now I have become God, and that's his downfall. But even for a sincere yogi, even if he does, trying to be sincere and trying to focus and meditate, for him to achieving the association of Supreme Personality Godhead is very, very rare. What he gets to see is only the shining toenail of the Supreme Personality Godhead, as described by Lord Sri Brahma. And Krishna, again, as I said in 11th chapter, where I was talking about people talk about something, they pull out something great from Bhagavad Gita and say this is the ultimate thing. But the ultimate thing is Bhakti Yoga, which is all declared by Lord Sri Krishna. So towards the end, where some people even talk about that universal form of the Lord is the greatest thing, they start worshipping, but they don't understand it is actually material form of the Lord, which is, it is not there. He personally, he is not there. He just, his energy is working. But they look at the magnificent form of the Lord, very opulent, very fiery, and they get carried away by this form of the Lord. And towards, when he shows the 200 form to Arjuna, after showing the universal form, the 400 form and the 200 form, then he tells that this particular form, simple looking form, which is that, it cannot be achieved by doing any Ved Abhyas, not by any tapasa or by any charity or even worshipping me. Because in worship, there is a problem. Because our hearts are not clean. Our worship means there is something for us in return. And hence, it is not easy to get Supreme Lord. But he says later that only by devotional service one is able to achieve me. And what is devotional service? Nothing but service. Devotional service is where out of love you do service to the Lord. Which is Sangha Varjita, means there should not be any fruitive mentality. That I did some service to Krishna and his devotees, that I will get something in return. If that is there, that is a business transaction, that I will get something in return, then it will be very difficult for us to get association of the Lord. Second, which is talked about, now we understand that yogis is not a big thing, it's not the right path to follow, but devotional service is the right path to follow. Now third, which is second talk, is talked about Supreme Personality of Godhead. So question arises, most of us in the material world, because all the facilities of living comfortably are given to us. And then the question, what is the need of God? For them, religion is an opiate, means something kind of like a crutch, where people who are weak in their will, weak in their doing something, they do not have confidence, for them God is required. This is what the thought process of people who are a little bit stronger in mind and strength. And hence what they do is they start exploiting the material nature because they want to enjoy. Because that is the nature of the spirit soul, that they want to enjoy. And once it starts enjoying, it finds that the existence, the earth itself is finite. No matter how much you take, first it looks is very abundant. All these natural resources, very abundant. Petroleum abundant, air is nice, rivers are nice, very clean. So you can do anything what you want to do with it. But they've forgotten that there is someone who is controlling them. And hence, what they do is they pollute the rivers, they pollute the earth, pollute the air atmosphere. And hence, they devise various means of trying to think that we will control put brakes on our needs and we will make the living sustainable. But that's not possible. It has a life. Because they're for them, looking at the world is just maybe 100 years. How to sustain their living in for 100 years. They cannot see beyond. But for beyond is, you have to take the help of Vedic scriptures. It talks about millions of years. 432,000 is the life of Kali Yuga. Just we have spent 5,000 years. So many years are there. So conclusion is, without God, we cannot be sustained. We cannot sustain ourselves. We need to have God's existence besides us. Because we cannot create. God is defined as someone who creates things. After creating again, for some people, even people who are religious minded, for them this is only one creation. And once that creation is over, people will either go to heaven or go to hell. They only know this. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead has designed this world in such a cyclic in manner, where a person who is unsuccessful in going back to Godhead, another chance is given. But that doesn't mean that an intelligent person should think in that way. For an intelligent person, he senses the misery, the pain of material existence, and he tries to find solution from it. But a fool person, he says, oh, very nice, I can still live here comfortably, what's there? But because he's a fool, he thinks like that. But for an intelligent person is, how do I, the pain I can able to perceive, and how do I take care of this pain? So, in short, a fish cannot stay happy without water. Fish existence is means it is in water itself. But we are all in this material world. What we see around is nothing but all fishes with mask of oxygen. It's very difficult to imagine. How can we be happy in this material world with a mask? We can't swim, we can't go around. Yeah, just giving an analogy to understand. We all are with the mask. Now, to explain this in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he actually instructs Srila Rup Goswami on the science of devotional service. In 10 days, he explains the entire science of devotional service, the beauty of it. So he begins, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he talks about the devotional service is such a vast ocean, such pleasure, blissful is that ocean that no one can measure its length and breadth. But for you to understand, I can just take a drop of that ocean and explain you. That is what Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is all about. Just a drop of that particular ocean is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is trying to explain to Sri Rupa Goswami in 10 days. So in that he talks about, begins with, there are living entities who are appearing, who are here in a jail, who are in 84 lakh species of life, different dresses. That is what I'm talking about. All these fishes are with a mask. And mask means they are in hospital, where all of them are in disease condition. Some are almost healthy, about to go into the swim, into the water, and some are very frail. The health is very bad. So just to talk about it is like, in the material world, he classifies there are two divisions, where moving and non-moving items. The living entities are put into in moving and non-moving. Moving are those who are moving. Non-moving are basically are considered as trees and plants. So in this comparison, from Puranas, we come to know there are 8,40,000, 84 lakhs species are broken as 9 lakhs are in water, 1.1 million, that's 11 lakhs. They are basically reptiles and insects. 30 lakhs are the four-legged people, four-legged animals. 10 lakhs are the birds, and 20 lakhs are basically 20 lakhs are the plants and the trees. And in that, 4 lakhs plus 4 lakhs is the human beings, varieties of human beings with different consciousness. That is 4 lakh species of human being itself. We can imagine. And there in purport, Srila Prabhupada says that it is not possible for any one planet to hold all of them. Maybe in some planets all of them are there, and in some planets some are not there. So when we talk all this, we get to see a limited vision of what is actually around us. How many people are there? How many souls are entrapped in the bodies? Who has a mask? Who is in suffering? In that, he says, people who are actually following Varnashram Dharma are basically only civilized. Now, among all those 4 lakh species, only people who are following Varnashram Dharma. Varnashram Dharma is followed only in India at one particular time, and we get to see only vestige. Vestige means remnants. But on an overall face, Varnashram Dharma is not there at all. What is driving today's society is only money. Varnashram Dharma, the aim is, how do I exit from this painful life of the material existence? Where do I get a place where I'll be ever happy? This is the beginning of Varnashram Dharma. So in this Varnashram Dharma, who is following, okay, good. 50% are actually following namesake only. Though they are well versed in all the scriptures, but in their mind, they have a sinful mentality. They commit sins. though they appear to be following Varnashram Dharma, because they do not understand the purpose of Varnashram Dharma. The purpose of Varnashram Dharma is to able to develop love for Krishna and exit this material world. But whereas some people, they look at Varnashram Dharma as some kind of a privilege given to them to show how great they are and how they can control or manipulate people. This is what a sinful activity of Varnashram Dharma is. So in this, again, 50% of them who are following Varnashram Dharma is, most of them you will find people are following fruitive results, Karma Kanda section. Out of this millions of sincere fruitive activities followers, one person could be a pure devotee of Krishna. So this is the rarity of devotional service. That how rare is devotional service. Just the numbers itself talks about it. And here we are put into this society of Krishna consciousness where we are quite lucky that we got in touch and we are trying to follow Krishna consciousness activities. So coming to that particular thing where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is talking about, he tells them there is, in all these activities, all these living entities are moving throughout the universe. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiv. People who are fortunate enough get Krishna Guru Prasade Bhakta Lata Bij. That one person gets Bhakta Lata, the creeper of devotional service, the seed. And he then advises this seed of devotional service can be watered only by Shravanam Kirtanam, by hearing and chanting, and to protect it from Vaishnava Prad, which is called mad elephant disease, where an elephant, if he is mad, he doesn't know what is right and what is wrong. He destroys everything, tramples everything. So one should be very careful that when he does devotional service, very careful how he relates with devotees. If he offends, then whatever we have done, all the creeper of devotional service is lost. Apart from that, there are other creepers also grow along with the devotional creeper, which is of fame, some opulence. And if we try to water that, then it's all gone. So one should be very careful. So coming to that same thing, we have been practicing, sometimes we practice devotional service. Sincerity is there in our heart, that's why we have reached to this stage of coming to temple, associating with devotees, but deep inside, we still find we are not developing progress. Why is that? Sometimes we question, yes. And that's only because of calm. That is only because of enjoyment propensity. As long as we have this propensity to enjoy, to lord over material nature, to lord over other Vaishnavas, or trying to be controlling nature, we will not be able to develop pure devotional service. But that doesn't mean that one particular person who is situated in a higher ranks of devotional service, he takes the responsibility of being a acharya, a follower of a acharya who tries to correct things, that Baba, what you're doing is wrong and what you're doing is right. So one should be able to respect that person and not should find fault, because one should see that how do I make progress, and I shouldn't be worried about others' progress as such, and not to go to correct people who are higher ranks of who are instructing us, not to find faults with them. He is there to instruct me, to correct me. With this attitude, he will cut down all our enjoying propensities. And enjoying propensities spring up only because of passion, or we want to enjoy our senses. Unless and until we are Sangha Varjita, that we want to enjoy this matter, we will not be able to make progress in devotional service. It's easy to talk about, but if one is lucky enough, as we talked about, Kauna Bhagyavan Jiv, Guru Krishna Prasade by Krishna Bhakta Lita Bij, so who will able to fan our devotional service, able to correct ourselves, to smash our false ego, that I'm doing something wrong. I'm trying to get into things which is going to give me some labh, pratishtha, puja. This is there in our heart because we are there here in this material for ever. almost as it is said that it is, we are so conditioned that there is no time. It is said almost that we are here only. I can't get the word what it is said. Uh, Someone can help me. Nitya Baddha is the word. Nitya, eternally conditioned. This is the status. But a devotee, a pure devotee, with whose lotus feet we put ourselves, we take shelter. He takes care of us to smash our enjoying propensity. Our only business would be then only to give pleasure to Krishna and Krishna's devotees. It's not possible for us to give pleasure to Krishna directly. Krishna becomes happy when his devotees are being given pleasure. His devotees are served. That is the time when Krishna becomes happy. Independently, we do not hold any capacity to please Krishna. Krishna becomes pleased looking that we have submitted ourselves to that great devotees. That is his pleasure. Otherwise, directly, not possible as such. So, after knowing all this stuff, still we are faltering in our surrender. Why is that? Because we are surrounded by our neighbors and we make a choice who our neighbors are. Most of our neighbors which are there is only talk about calculate life in terms of money. Money is the parameter which tells us that a person is successful in life in modern world, and our parents, our surrounding who we have associated, the only thing what has been taught is money. Somehow the other acquire money, get prestige in the society, and you are likely successful. As long as we have this association in our heart or physically with these people, it will be not be able to give full surrender or faith in this devotional service. All these people who are actually thinks that success is only about money, they're actually nothing but frogs in the well. The frogs in the well, they think that this is what it is and this is life. And for them, acquiring facilities of comfort and getting respect from people who are below them is all about life. But they do not understand the ecstasies of devotional service. Ecstasies is something which facilities may be there or may not be there. We see Rishi Munis, they go to jungle. Being such a learned, they have all the facilities given by the king, they still prefer the jungle. Why? Because it is immaterial for them whether the facilities are there or not there. Because for them, they are Atma Bhakta, because for them, connection with the Supreme Lord, with Krishna, to please Him, and connection of the soul, the Sambandha Gyan and Abhidya is very important. And they know, by their own nature, they are able to see that these are unnecessary things. We have seen the lives of the 6 Goswamis. They have given up big positions, and what they have acquired is a loin cloth, a kamandalu, a water pot, and one kind of even Sanatan Goswami, he gave a shawl which was gifted to his brother-in-law. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would look at that shawl, he felt that, oh, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thinks that even this particular shawl have an attachment. So he goes and exchanges with another mendicant for a torn shawl. That person, he feels that, why are you making fun with me, Baba? Who would, you have such a nice shawl and you want to trade with a torn shawl? This is not intelligence. He starts doubting. Even then he gets, because Sanatan Goswami knows, he takes that shawl, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu becomes very happy looking at his renunciation. Renunciation is not dry renunciation to show off, but it shows there our dependency on the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His teachings, and the ephemeral nature that of the facilities what they offer. These facilities what they offer are only a trap, because that will instigate fire off our enjoying propensities. And so once you try to cut all these enjoying propensities, then it is said that Only once, when the fragrance of pure devotional service which is there, one is able to see all these things. Labh, puja, pratishtha is nothing compared. This is what the six Goswamis demonstrated. So it's a natural thing that we try to evolve. We want to be happy. That's Ananda Abhyasat. That living entity is aspiring for happiness. But if he's wrongly directed, he will try to find happiness in the wrong path. But it's there in our heart. So it's very important that we associate with right devotees and we be directed in the right pursuit of happiness. Otherwise, it's just like a pig wherein even if he's given a halwa and he's given a gutter, he's pulled away from the gutter and given halwa, what the pig would do, because he has not been trained, he will always go behind the gutter. The smell of the gutter, the chillness of the gutter, this is our actually nature, because we are conditioned so much that we get pulled by the facilities of the material world and forget killing our spirit of spirit, that we are a spirit soul. So coming to this, where the sloka talks about the fortune of these devotees, what piety must have done life after life to acquire association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is what Sukdev Goswami puts in retrospection to Parikshit Maharaj, and he says about this. So it talks about the highest level of piety of devotional service, life after life they have achieved. And our acharyas, ISKCON particularly, is built only to give us this fortune. If you are not intelligent enough, intelligence comes only out of association. Association comes out of all our values. And values is first our parents inject when you are small, and then once we have them, we try to search to enhance those values by our own. And again, why those particular parents? Because of your previous life, of what hankering we have in our heart. Based on that, we take life in that particular family, and the journey goes on. But this ISKCON and the Acharya line is a fast track process where we can get that fortune of being associate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that is supreme happiness. Why can we need to be happy with happiness of small things? We should be happy. Supreme happiness is called Brahma Sukham. It's the ultimate supreme happiness which we are all hankering for. But because of our limited vision, myopic vision, we look for only things which is immediate around us and we fall trapped for it. So I conclude my class with this, that one should be very careful that those who have coming in contact with ISKCON should try to fan their spark of trying to be more and more involved with ISKCON, trying to be associating with them, reading scriptures, trying to do service to the temple, to the ashram, and purify themselves of their consciousness to understand what is real happiness. Hare Krishna. Anyone has any question, some corrections, some comments? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय.